everybody, it's Renee here. I'm doing a video today on a line that's been around for a couple years, but it kind of fits for our very cold weather right now. It is the Simple Stories Freezin Season collection, and I'm going to be making a one-page layout using this, but I will come back to it maybe in a while and make some other things with it because I absolutely love these colors and love this collection. So what I'm going to start with is our background, and I'm going to use this page. I kind of liked this one as a background, and I am going to be doing a white sheet on top of it. Sorry, I'm just grabbing my paper. I should have had this before, but I didn't. So I'm going to do our white sheet. I'm going to trim down our white 12 by 12. So we're going to trim this down, and again, I'm an eyeballer. I do not mess around and measure. There's nothing wrong with doing that, it's just I don't do that. Okay, in classes when I'm teaching I do, just because everybody asks, so I will measure, but typically that's not how I do things. So that's roughly what I'm going for. So we'll do that. The next thing I'm going to be doing, I will be putting this in the background, so that will be there, but I'm also going to have some other matting going on as well. And let's see what we're going to use. This is such a cool paper line. I absolutely love it. I'm going to, I think, matte my picture on that, but I also had some 5x7 card of some different colors, so it just depends on what colors we want to use, because these all went through all the colors in the line. They all coordinate, so it's a matter of which color do we want to matte in. And I don't know, I kind of like the white, I kind of like the blue. What would you do? Kind of like the green too, I'm not gonna lie. Tough decision. I think I am going to matte in white, but use some of the other colors with other things. So usually what I do, because my picture that I'm going to use, and I'm not going to put it on the video, but the picture I'm going to use is a 4x6. I'm just going to trim this down just a shade, because I find this is a little bit bigger than a 5x7. So do that. And then usually what I do is I am going to, I'm going to look at it like this and just see roughly where I'm going to trim it down. And I'll show you why I'm doing it this way. I'm going to cut it right there and about right there. So now I'm going to trim down our pattern paper to about there. And I usually make my lines just past where I actually want to cut, or you can always go back and erase, which I'm going to do just a shade with this one. Erase where your line was. Okay, so the reason I did it this way is because I'm going to tack this down like that and then put our mat over top. So I'd like to have a kind of, I'll show you better here, kind of that kind of look, if that makes sense. So with doing that, you have to figure out where exactly you want to put this. And before you can do that, you have to tack our weight down. So I'm going to do that now with my glue runner. And I'm using the Glue Arts Glue Glider Pro. It's one of my favorite ones. So now we're going to tack that down, and again, I'm just eyeballing, try and make sure you get it straight. There we go. So now going to try and have it pretty close to the middle. Okay, so we're going to pick it up like that. Gives you an idea roughly of where you want to adhere it. Okay. Make sure you line that up, get it straight on there. And now we're going to glue the back of our pink mat and attach that down. And again, you want to line this up to where you'd like to have it. So a lot of this is really planning how this is going to work, because a lot of it is strategic. You have to know where you're going to put certain things for it to fit. So now this one, there we go. So there we go, there's our mat. So now I'm going to pull up some other pieces that we're going to use to add to our page. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be putting this right here and right here. And I know you're probably thinking, why didn't you put that underneath here? There's a couple reasons I didn't do that. One reason is I didn't want to waste any paper behind here because we're not using it. Another reason is I really like my layers, and when you add more layers, it gets thicker. So I'm trying to not have my pages as thick as they possibly can be, because then it takes up more room in your books if you put these in albums. And if you've been scrapbooking as long as I have, you probably have a lot of albums, so you run out of space. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to line this up. I mean, if you want to, you could put this down ahead of time before you tacked everything else down, but I'm going to show you how to do this if you don't want to. So you just draw a line, and then here, from that line, we're going to have it go to here. And then you can make it the width you want as well. So now we're going to trim that up. And this paper, if you like this one, because I kept the tab on it, is called 4x6 horizontal elements. So there are these on the other side. Your cards are on the other side. Okay, so I'm going to trim this up to my width so I don't waste this area. I am going to make it about like that. Yeah, that's about good. So we have that whole piece we can still use. And now we trim up this area. So there's our line. And here, because we're using both sides, we might have to trim up the pencil marks. Or not trim them up, sorry, erase them. But that's okay. Okay, so we still have that whole side. The other thing with this is you just have to make sure that you line them up on here so they actually match. And it's fairly easy for me because I'm putting it right to the edge. There we go, so look at that, that matches. So now we just, again, tack it down. And I don't see any pencil marks, so we should be okay. There. And right there. Voila. Okay, so we've got that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make lines around the whole outside edge. And the reason I want to do that now is because once we start adding our elements to this, it's going to be awfully hard to do that. So we're going to do that now. Okay, so I am using a fine tip. It's the Ultra Fine Point Sharpie. And this is what I tend to use for creating lines. And I will start over here. I rarely use a ruler. I just kind of go freehand. And are my lines always straight? Heck no. But I kind of like them that way. You could use a ruler. Sometimes I like to keep Keep it so there's like a space. And you've probably seen me do that on some of my other ones. And I don't always like it to be perfect. I kind of like it that it's not perfect. And all lined up and matchy match. And with some of this, if you make mistakes, it's not that big of a deal, because you can always put some of your embellishments or stickers or whatever you use to beautify your pages over top. So there's always good ways around that. The other thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to outline our pattern paper we just stuck down. And I'll do it here. If you have a sewing machine, you could always stitch it, but I do not have my sewing machine anymore. I kind of killed it playing around with vinyl. Okay, that's a whole other story. So we'll do a line down here. And now I'm going to do our white cardstock mat. I just find doing these lines, it just finishes it off. For some people, they like to do ink. And you can do ink. I don't tend to do a ton of ink. I used to. You know, I'm going to double line this one. And get my pen to go. There we go. And I like sometimes the doodles on pages. Being an art kid, doodling is a lot of fun, and I doodle a fair bit. Okay, so there's that. Maybe we will even do our border of houses. You don't have to, but again, I just find it finishes it off. There we go. So see, that kind of finished it off. So there's that. Next thing I'm going to do is I am going to put something down in here. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to trim these up and make kind of like little mini tags. And I'll show you how to do this. This is very easy. Don't need a ruler or anything like that, because you're going to be cutting these off anyway. So that's that length. I'm going to make this a little bit longer. Yeah, I'll make that a little bit longer. Okay, so something like this, what I normally do is roughly find the middle and then fold it over and go to the top of where you just cut. And voila, there is how you create that. And now I'm going to do it with the second one. So now we can put this like that to finish it off, or you can put the little one, which is probably what I'm going to do, and then the long one. So you got something like that. And I kind of like that. It kind of finishes it off, doesn't it? All right, so I'm going to tack those down. So we're putting our thicker, shorter one in the back. There we go. And now we're going to put the long, thin one on the top. There we go. All right. Next thing I am going to do is I am going to put a little border across here, And I'm just going to see what we have for papers in this line that would work for that. That's kind of cute. You know, I think I'm going to do that, and I am going to trim this. I'm going to trim this up a little bit, and I'll show you why. Cut that color off. All this color coordinated items are so fun. Okay, so you could do something like, well, not cut up. I'm going to cut it even shorter because I don't want to cut up our little tags that we just did. Okay. It still cuts them off. I am going to trim that off and make it shorter. This is so not a planned layout, just winging it. So yeah, I kind of like that. So we could do something like that and then put our title. So we'll leave that there for now, and we'll work with that and see if that works. If not, we can always come back to it. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll leave that there. Kind of like that. The next thing we're going to do is start putting some of our stickers and our different embellishments on here. And I will show you. This is the sticker sheet, and it's pretty cool. There's a lot of really neat things on here, and I really dig it. And now we're going to start doing some of our layering. So we're going to be using some of this, but I'm also going to be fussy cutting and cutting up some of our cards as well. So I'm going to cut up some of these, and then I will show you once I've cut them up. So I switched it up, and now this is my finished project. What I did was these were all stickers. I stuck these down. This is also a sticker. I foam squared this and these are also stickers. This was part of the journaling cards. I cut that out, as well as the toque or hat. This was the back side of some paper, so I just cut that out. These were also stickers, and I foam squared those. That is a sticker. I plopped all of these straight down without a foam square. And this was a card that I cut out, and then I just stuck it down with just my Zig 2-way glue. So that is the finished project. I really like how that turned out. I absolutely love this colors and the line, and I will be creating more with this in times to come, or even using it with some of my Traveler's Notebook or the journal series. So I hope you enjoyed this. I didn't want to make a super long video, so I wanted to get right to it so you can see what's happening. Make sure you subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. If you're on Facebook, make sure you join the page and check out all my content as well on Instagram and my blog. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.